Welcome to Step 2B. You learned about sampling designs in the last video and are now ready to choose sample sizes. We will show you how. Here is the sample size template that you will use to choose your sample sizes. We start on Part A, the first sheet. The instructions are at the top. Yellow cells have values that you need to choose. We have filled in values as examples, but use your own values in yellow cells. Orange cells also have values you can choose, but if you do not know what to choose, we give default values that you can use in those cells. You can ignore the gray cells. They have values that get computed automatically using the formulas in this Excel file. Once you have filled in the yellow and orange cells, the sample sizes you will need for your survey will appear in the blue cells. We see we need to choose values for these three yellow cells. The first is the standard error. Recall from the video on Step 2A that smaller standard errors mean more precision and require bigger sample sizes. Larger standard errors mean less precision and allow smaller sample sizes. You can try different standard errors and see what sample size they will need. If the sample size is beyond your budget, you can increase the standard error for a smaller sample size. The second yellow cell is the average number of children per household. Using what you know about your population of interest, how many children ages 5 through 17 live in each household on average? You can look at data from the census or other surveys. Document where you got the number. The third yellow cell compares the costs of going between PSUs or clusters to the costs of surveying households. This information is used to decide how many PSUs to sample and how many households to sample in each one. For example, suppose your PSUs are census enumeration areas. It might cost twice as much to travel from one enumeration area to another enumeration area as it costs to survey a household. In that case, you would enter the number 2. Do not worry if you do not know the exact number, just type in your best estimate. Consult survey firms for advice. The template calculates the total number of children to survey. In our example, the template tells us to survey 406 children. We calculate that this requires sampling 135 households. The total number of PSUs or clusters to sample is 45. Now we are done with Part A, so let's move on to Part B. Part A told us to sample a total of 45 PSUs. This sheet, Part B, will tell us how many PSUs to sample in each stratum. In our example, we have 3 strata, but you may have fewer or more, which you can list on these rows. Remember, strata could be things like districts. We select PSUs from within strata to be sure we select enough PSUs from each of the strata, or, in our example, districts. We enter the total number of PSUs in the population of interest here. In our example, there are 4,961 PSUs in districts A, B, and C. In the yellow cells, we enter the number of PSUs in each stratum here. In our example, there are 1,823 PSUs in District A, 2,198 PSUs in District B, and 940 PSUs in District C. In the blue cells, the template calculates the number of PSUs to sample in each stratum. We sample 17 PSUs in the first stratum, District A, 20 in District B, and 9 in District C. Here we see the totals across strata. This cell gives the total number of PSUs in the population. It will be equal to the number we input over here if we entered the numbers for each stratum correctly. If these are not the same, check these numbers. This cell shows the new total number of PSUs to sample. Notice that it is 46, but earlier in Part A, the template said to sample 45 PSUs. This small difference is not a problem. It happens because spreading 46 PSUs across the strata works slightly better than spreading 45 PSUs across the strata. The number here, 46, is the actual total number of PSUs we will sample, and this is the number to use. Your numbers will be different than our example. Now we are done with Part B, so let's move on to Part C. Part A told us to sample a total of 135 households. This sheet, Part C, will tell us how many households to sample in each sampled PSU. In our example, we have 46 sampled PSUs, but you may have fewer or more, which you can list on these rows. In the yellow cells, we enter the total number of households in each sampled PSU here. In our example, there are 247 households in the first sampled PSU, 210 households in the second sampled PSU, and so on. In the blue cells, the template calculates the number of households to sample in each sampled PSU. We sample 4 households in the first sampled PSU, 3 in the second, and so on. Here we see the totals across sampled PSUs. This cell gives the total number of households in the sampled PSUs. This cell shows the new total number of households to sample. Notice that it is 139, but earlier in Part A, the template said to sample 135 households. This small difference is not a problem. It happens because spreading 139 households across sampled PSUs works slightly better than spreading 135 households across sampled PSUs. The number here, 139, is the actual total number of households we will sample. Your numbers will be different than our example. Congratulations! You have now developed a sampling design and figured out the sample sizes you will need for your project. Now you are ready to collect data. Good luck! After you have data, we will see you in the next video for Step 4, Analyzing and Reporting the Data.